guys, welcome back to Simply Watching TV. Tonight's video will be Sex and the City Season 1, Episode 8. Last video was Season 1, Episode 7, The Monogamists, I believe. And this episode will be Episode 8, Three's a Crowd. We will get into all the three things, some threes. So let's get into it. The scene opens up at a black tie event, child. And they talking about Charlotte and her new man and how perfect they are together and how they met and they're amazing and he knows everything about her. She knows everything about him. Child, and then he suggests a some three. He wants to invite another individual, another woman. Let's be clear. I will never want to do it the other way. He invites another woman or wants to invite another woman into their boudoir. And of course this gives Charlotte pause. Who else? It wouldn't give somebody like Samantha pause. It gives Charlotte pause. And she's trying to consider it. Like, should I do this? Of course she's talking to the girls about it. And of course Samantha's like, absolutely. But the only way it works is if you're the girl that a couple is inviting into their relationship. Like, don't do it if you're the girlfriend and, you know, your man is asking you to bring another woman. Like, don't do it. And Miranda is like, no, it's just him trying to be, you know, a freak and watch you do some things to somebody else. Like, don't even fall for it. So on one hand, Charlotte is kind of like hesitant about it, but then she's kind of open to try it. But she's not really open to try it because she wants to try it. She's open to try it because Jack, that's her boyfriend's name, because Jack wants her to try it. And of course he's trying to spend all his days convincing her that, you know, it'll be a great like opportunity and stuff like that. So they're all trying to like, they're all considering, you know, like what they think about the activity and if they would do it and have they done it before and all kind of stuff like that. And as they're going around, they're all talking about like who in the friend group that they would, you know, like want to participate in that with. And everybody says everybody else except for Miranda. Like nobody says, oh yeah, Miranda, like I'd invite her, you know, with my man. And this kind of has her in her feelings. It sounds silly, but I get what she's saying. Like, nobody wants to be left out. Nobody wants to be in, like, an afterthought or an oversight when it comes to sexuality and, you know, like, people being attracted to them or, like, wanting to sleep with them. Like, nobody wants to be forgotten in that way. But that girl went down a whole, like, downward spiral because of this conversation and, you know, having conversations with her therapist and all kind of stuff like that. Samantha is sleeping with a married man. And that is hilarious because I'm doing both Girlfriends and Sex and the City episodes in the same night and everybody just sleeping with married men. Everybody just having a fun. And of course Samantha is not bothered by it, like, at all. And she's, again, that type of person that's like, I'm glad you're married because I don't want the commitment with you. Like, I don't want the extra. I don't want the drama. I don't want anything like that, which is interesting because later in the story, we see how that we see why, you know, she ends things with him, but she's definitely good, like, where it is. And he's just like, yes, I'm so glad you're not my wife and whatever. But not her sleeping with a married man. That's funny. So, Charlotte, brain fart. Charlotte and Jack are at another event, another black tie gala, charity event, auction, silent auction, whatever they do. It was like another event or whatever. And Jack is just like so persistent about this whole like inviting another woman, asking her like, oh, what do you think about her? What do you think about her? And can I just say, for me personally, I would have been turned off. Like, don't keep pressuring me about it. One already was not my idea. This is your idea. So one, you can tell who wanted it. Two, it gives creepy to me. I don't know. Like, it's just not really cute. You know, it's almost begging at this point. And that's like, for that activity, that's not cute. But so he's like checking out all these different women around and to me it really just gives like who you want to sleep with. It's not necessarily who I want to sleep with, because what if I don't find any of these women attractive enough to sleep with them? Then what? So he's checking out all these different women, and he's like, what do you think about this person? What do you think about that person? And he's trying to convince her, like, you have this fire inside of you. You just exude sexuality. And I'm looking at Charlotte every time I watch an episode. I don't get that vibe from her. Like, I don't get, somebody that's just dying to. Maybe it was. Maybe at the time. Maybe other people. Why don't you guys look at this same episode and you guys let me know in the comments, is she exuding what he's saying she's exuding? But to me, she wasn't exuding that. And it just gave that he was just trying to like talk her up and like kind of build her head up so that she would feel confident enough to be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Kind of give her that confidence boost. Very manipulative. Thank you. But again, it's just like you being real needy about this, right? So she agrees to it. Well, she doesn't fully agree to it, but she's kind of like entertaining the idea more and more, right? So then right after that, we see it, like the scene cuts to Jack and some other woman. Well, it cuts to Charlotte, right, in like a row, but you can tell by the scene and the dim lighting and all that, like what is about to happen. Then the camera switches to Jack and another woman, and they're like kissing, making out. No, nope. This is why those don't work for me, because the second I see my man kissing, making out, connecting any type of way with another woman, cut the cameras. Like, what are we talking about? No, I'm not turned on by that. I'm not turned on by that. I'm actually irritated. I'm infuriated by it. So like, move out of the way. And like, but so she's like, intrigued even more, interested even more. So she's like walking towards, the next thing you know, child, she wake up. Thank God it was a dream. If that was me, like, that wouldn't have turned me on. Like, I really don't think it turned her on either. I think she wanted to do it because he wanted to do it and she didn't want to seem like a prude. But I mean, there's just some things that you don't want to do. And so she has this like conversation with Carrie, and she's telling her about the dream. He's like, what do we even know about the people we sleep with? Like, do we really know them for real? And so, of course, that sends Carrie to start thinking about her own problems with Mr. Big, right? If it's not about you and Big, you're going to make it about you and Big some kind of way, child. Because this had nothing to do with you and Big and who he done been with. Or if you've always had that thought because you don't know jack about Big. That's funny. Jack is Charlotte's boyfriend. Big is Carrie's. Anyway, so of course, now Carrie's thinking like, what do I not know about Mr. Big that I want to know, that I want to investigate? Anyway, on the other side of town, across the street, Miranda is over here really feeling left out and really feeling like sexually rejected by her friends and everybody else in the world because nobody wants to have her. Nobody wants her to play their reindeer games. Like, they don't want her involved. Nobody says that, but that's how she feels. Because nobody instantly was like, yes, Miranda, you be... Honestly, she wasn't... No. It wouldn't have been her for me either. But, again, she'd be for somebody. So, she really shouldn't have felt all that bad. It is what it is. Especially for somebody who, okay, if we look back at it, did you want to do that with a man and another? Okay, so then what are we talking about? Men, right? So we also get into Carrie and Big again because now, Carrie's wheels are turning in her head and she knows nothing about Big and who he's been with and his partners and blah, blah, blah. She finds out that Big was married before. They got a divorce. She doesn't know why they got a divorce. Well, she finds out later, but she doesn't know why they got a divorce. And, but she does find out that they were engaging in some threes, and they were doing like extra things in the boudoir, and it made her feel a little self-conscious because they don't do that. They don't explore. And so now she's talking to her friends and she's like, okay, so now he's doing all this crazy and spontaneous things with his ex that he doesn't do with me. And so I don't know. I mean, what, Carrie? Like, what are we talking about, right? So I think they kind of get onto the topic of like when people are married, like their sex gets boring. And then, of course, this brings up Samantha's married man that she's sleeping with. And she talks about how, like, the husband is like, oh, my wife would never do this. I've never received X, Y, and Z from my wife. And Carrie's like, are you trying to make me feel worse? And, I mean, you know, it's a reality for some people who are married. For other people, it's not their reality. Like, you have no idea why they were doing what they were doing in their relationship. Mm-hmm. Mind you, during all of this, Miranda is still trying to poke at both of them to see who wants her in their hypothetical threes a crowd. And they're just like not giving into it. Like, she put on this lipstick and she's like, does this color turn you on? And Carrie's like, it's looking a little orange. Like, girl, just tell her she's hot. Like, so we can move on. Like, this girl is not gonna let up until somebody calls her sexy and like be done with it. So Carrie is still like curious about the ex, so curious of the fact that she sets up a meeting and pretends that she wants to be an author for a children's book to meet up with his ex, because his ex does something like that. I don't know. She's some type of editor, author, illustrator, one of them. I don't know. So she has a whole meeting and she's like trying to get to know her by like faking and lying about her wanting to write a children's book about a little girl with cigarettes who would take her to Arabia. Carrie, you talk about, oh, I do what writers do and I pull something out my butt. That's what you pulled out? That's what you pulled out? A story about a little girl with magic cigarettes who could take her to Arabia? That's what you pulled out? Back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board. Okay, so she ends up also like meeting up with the ex again for like lunch, and that's when they kind of get into like the business of her and Big, because now the ex knows who she is. And Carrie is just all over the place with this man. Like, she really, really is, but we'll get into it towards the end because that's how the episode ends. But on the other side of town, next door, Samantha then ran into her fling and his wife on the streets of New York. And it's so awkward and it's so weird, right? So they're all doing the, oh, I don't know him. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Kind of, sort of, maybe, not really. And so he's trying to hurry him out of here, whatever. But the wife kind of like knows. Like, you can tell when she turns her back and looks at Samantha. Like, she's like, nah, who is that? Right? So next thing you know, they're on a 3-way call with Samantha. And the wife is like snot-nosing like all over the phone. And she is like determined to keep her husband, number one. But number two, she proposes a sum-3 with Samantha. Samantha's like, ew, no, I would never. And absolutely not. Because, girl, you're crying all over the phone. Like, do you know how emotionally weird this is? And it's hilarious because this is exactly what Samantha didn't want. Like, she didn't want the drama. She didn't want any of, like, the, you know, strings that were attached to anybody. Like, she just wanted to have some fun. She tried to turn into everything but that. Now you're dealing with a crybaby wife who's sitting on the phone and then has the nerve after she didn't just blew her nose, after she just blew her nose from crying, gonna ask you if she could be what? Crazy, right? So lastly, we get into Carrie and Big having the conversation about his ex and why they engaged in all those things in the bedroom and what that meant to him. And his response was like, no, we were searching for other people. Like, we were not, you know, happy in the relationship. I cheated on her. And Carrie's just like, I don't know why you're doing this and you tell me this and you don't mean this. And I'm like, girl, but you know what I think? Honestly, I think Carrie is so confused and so like all over the place when it comes to Big, because Carrie wanted to come off as like, this is just what I think. I think Carrie really, really likes Big and like fell in love with Big and everything. I'm still talking about early stages. I'm not considering any of the like things they get into later. Carrie really, really likes Big and really like wants a relationship with Big, but she also doesn't want to look like she really wants to, like, she wants to be that person that he chases after. Like that acts like she doesn't really want to be with him, but she does. And I think like that has her conflicted. And it's just like, okay, if he acts like we're in a relationship, I'm gonna act like we're in a relationship. But if he wants to treat me crazy, that's okay, because I never wanted to be in a relationship. And girl, Girl, you got to honor your feelings. What do you want? And you wanted a relationship, and he, but you also don't want it to look like you want a relationship. I see why you're confused, because we're all confused. So I don't know. Also too, if you guys are on TikTok and you've seen and heard like the trend of like the black cat golden retriever, I, in my opinion, from the early stages, well, honestly, the whole relationship, I feel like Big is the black cat and she's the golden retriever. If you guys know what I'm talking about. It just gives that energy, honestly. It just seems like she was just chasing him, like chasing anything she could get from that man, especially as now we are considering what happens later. She just chasing after that man. So we'll get into some more developments, some new things, some new conversations next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.